was. Wants to find us something to believe in. He hears a knock at the door this evening. She says I'm going to New York City to follow my dreams. Would you come with me? Little girl, only 17 years old, looking at the stars in her granddad's eye. And the dreams get a little bit wider, but together they cross the river.
along, ladies and gentlemen, to Fuji Speedway. We're here for the GTEs this evening, down to the season, and looks like Beambasher putting it on pole position there, getting a good qualifying session after not the best of races last week, but actually got on the podium in the end. But the first part of the race really didn't go to plan for him. Disco Face alongside him on the front row had that incident with GranddadD last week at Watkins Game. We'll be looking to try and come back strong from that one. Richie in third place with Fabio Salto. Great qualifying from him in fourth. Wilfredo Flowers, GranddadD, the Mutt Nuts, Falguest, RDJ, and the Dizzler competing in the top 10. Smoky Devil, Craig, JM Gruhl in 13th with Doyce Monks, DJ Phil and Guitar Rich starting at the back for this one. Delighted to say we've got a full 16 car grid on Project Cars 2 for the GTEs here at Motive. We had an interesting race last time out at Watkins Glen. Great to have this grid absolutely packed out for this week, and it should be an exciting race. Beambasher, we know pole sitter tonight, is a proven winner in these GTEs. He's a former champion in the GTE class here at Motive, so he's got the credentials, he's definitely got the pedigree, and I'm sure he's going to be looking to try and defend this lead from Disco coming up towards turn one. Disco Face in that BMW is going to be sharp off the line. We know that he's got pace. That BMW very quick through the corners, but down the long straights that might be where it suffers a little bit to the Ferrari of Richie behind him. And Fabio Salto will be looking to try and make gains at the start as well. Wilfredo Flowers and GranddadD very close as well. But coming in towards the final few moments before the start of the race, guys, if you enjoy what you see here on the Motive channel, drop a like on the video, subscribe as well. And if you want to get involved in the on-track action, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com and join the Discord server. Become part of the action that you see out on track right in front of you. As we're just making our final preparations here, let us know in the comments who you think is going to win this one. Who's your pick? Got JR saying fight fire with fire. Disco says, I'll be honest, I don't want to race Richie. He's always dirty against me. Well, hopefully we don't see any of that tonight. We know that these two have a bit of history, and they're actually starting next to each other. So let's hope that Disco and Richie don't tangle with each other. That would be the last thing that we need here in this race. But we are just syncing up now. We're moments away from the start of round 2 for the GTE League here at Motive on Project Cars 2 on the PlayStation 4 platform. And looks like we're lights out and away we go. Good start from Disco, gets a better one on Beambasher. Beambasher goes to cover off the inside line, and Disco's now being swamped here. He's got a forward up his inside there. Looks like that's GranddadD getting a strong start. Doesn't manage to get the jump on him. Disco and Richie side by side through turn 1, but Disco holds that one off, and GranddadD got the inside of Richie up into third. Richie in P4 there. The Mutt Nuts in 5th. Looks like he's got ahead of Fabio Salto. Fabio's been passed there by Wilfredo and the Mutt Nuts, and also Craig as well up into 8th place. Fabio down a few positions there. Doyce Monks competing in the top 10 at the moment. Falguest has gone himself up to 10th place ahead of Doyce Monks. DJ Phil looks like he's getting. Disco's off. What's happened to Disco? He's down to the back of the pack here at the start of the race. Oh no, Disco Face after qualifying on the front row has lost it after a couple of turns. He's got the pace in this race. Is he going to be able to come back through the field in this one? We'll have to wait and see. Beambasher leads, but Disco's been passed by absolutely everybody except RDJ, who seems to have had a moment as well coming through the first couple of corners. He's in P16 here in this race, so that's not gone to plan at all for RDJ. But Beambasher leads us round, and he's already pulled out a 1.2 second gap here to GranddadD. So Beambasher is on it at the start of this race. GranddadD running in second. The Mutt Nuts currently in third place at the moment. He's got just under a second here to Richie running in fourth. Wilfredo Flowers there just behind him. The Dizzler even on his reserve appearance tonight. Former racer in the GTEs here at Motive. Driving a great race. So we see Wilfredo Flowers up into fourth, getting the move done there on Richie. Richie getting swamped here into the final corner. Looks like the Mutt Nuts and Craig following Wilfredo Flowers through. Up into 5th and 6th respectively. Richie losing place after place there. Coming through that final section of the track. Fabio Salto just behind Richie at the moment, but it is Beambasher leading by 1.6 seconds at the moment. Coming over the line to complete the first lap, and Beambasher looking to have a very, very strong race here in this one. We got side by side in the background coming down the start finish. Looks as though Falguest is a little way behind that battle, but we've got Fabio just behind the Mutt Nuts, Richie and Craig. Looks like we've got Richie getting passed on the inside here. Craig is going to go side by side, but not towards turn 2. I think Craig's going to have that one done on the brakes up into P6. Oh no, Craig chops him off a little bit there. and that was a little bit naughty there. He just kind of moved across him into the braking zone, and hopefully those two haven't got too much damage on the car. As we see there, Richie swerving back onto the track. Doyce Monks has to take evasive action there, but oh no, Craig and Richie having a bit of a ding-dong. DJ Phil squeezes through up into 10th place. Falguest trying to thread the needle there as he manages to get through. JM Brawl goes around the outside there of DJ Phil, and Disco coming through as well. Disco trying to make his way back through the pack as well. So much drama in the opening couple of laps here at Fuji, but Smokey Devil running just behind DJ Phil with Guitar Rich and RDJ in the pits here at the end of lap one, getting some repairs done. You can come into the pits before the pit window if you've got sufficient damage of 25%, but RDJ's called it a day. He's throwing in the towel. That's his race done there. Very unfortunate for the man and the Porsche. Beam Basher coming out of the final corner. He has got a 2-second lead here over Grandad Steve, and it looks as though he's extending that as it goes on. So Beam Basher there doing an absolutely brilliant job so far in this race. Grandad Steve running there in second place. The Nuts running in third at the moment. And we got Wilfredo Flowers in P4 for the time being. The Dizzler there in fifth, 7.5 seconds off for the leader Beam Basher. We've got Fabio Salto in sixth. There's Craig still sat in seventh, starting to gap Doyce Monks in a bit. Doyce Monks has got heavy pressure from Richie coming down the start finish straight. He's going to pull out that slipstream. Is he going to be able to get the drag up towards turn one? They are side by side. Also Falguest trying to get this done on Disco. These two side by side as well into the braking zone, but Richie is going to get the move done on Doyce Monks. Disco has managed to get Doyce Monks as well, as Doyce Monks goes a little deep into the corner, and Disco there pulling off a double overtake down the start finish straight up into 9th place, continuing to make great progress in this race. Falguest there has got Doyce Monks up his inside into turn 2, and Doyce Monks holds onto that one for now. Looked like Falguest was going to try and seize on that one, but couldn't do so in the end. Beam Basher leads by 2.5 seconds alone over Grandad Steve. A couple of seconds further back to the Nuts. Wilfredo Flowers just over a second off the back of him. Fabio Salto's got ahead of the Nuts. What's happened to the Nuts? He spun it. He spun it. Careful, everybody. It's the no, it's not the Nuts. I'm sorry, it's the Dizzler. I keep getting those two mixed up. They got the same abbreviation there at the starts of their names, but the Dizzler dropping him way back down the order, down to 13th. He's just ahead of Guitar Rich at the moment, but that's gone horribly wrong there for him. The Nuts, the one who I've confused him with, is up in third place right now, driving in the green Ford as opposed to the red and blue Ferrari, but he's currently 5 seconds off of the leader Beam Basher right now. Beam Basher's coming out of the last corner to complete the third lap of the race. Grandad Steve keeping tabs with Beam Basher. Beam Basher seems to have the pace over the rest of the guys out there at the moment. Disco's making his way back through up into P7. I'm sure that Disco is going to be eyeing up a podium here in this race. He's got ahead of his nemesis Richie, who's currently running in 9th place at the moment. Not the race he would have hoped for after the qualifying that he had, but lots of cars packed into a short space here. Wilfredo Flowers side by side with the Nuts down the start finish straight. Wilfredo Flowers moves up into third place there onto the brakes. Beautifully done there from Wilfredo. Nuts gives him the space, gives him a bit of a tap on the outside, but Wilfredo is through and gets the position done there. Fabio running in 5th, just ahead of Craig. Disco there in 7th at the moment. Falguest, Richie, Doyce Monks completing that top 10. Doyce Monks racing as reserve tonight. It's a bank holiday in, I believe he's from Japan. I may be wrong on that one, but I think he is Japanese, and it's a bank holiday where he is, so he's able to race despite it being up to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning for him. So hats off to him. He's really made the commitment there. DJ Phil running just ahead of the JM Brawl just behind them. Guitar Rich, a couple of seconds off the back of these guys now. Smokey Devil rounding out the field there in P15, still going in this race though. But looks as though the Nuts has got still on the back of Wilfredo Flowers. Craig is ahead of Fabio Salto in 5th place. These two have now got Disco reeling them in a little bit. Falguest has got ahead of Richie. Doyce Monks there, still not too far off the back of Richie at this point. But the Nuts has got back ahead of Wilfredo Flowers up into third. You can see that one happen, but Nuts now up into third once again. He's got a penalty though, so that will affect him once we get to the end of the race for sure. Fabio trying to stick on the back of these guys as well, as he's got a bit of a gap back to Disco. Disco's gapped Falguest by about a second over the last lap. So Richie's running pretty close to the back of Falguest, looking to try and get up into 8th place if he can. High class field here in these GTEs tonight at Fuji. Some of the best on Project Class 2 on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms, and currently Beam Basher out in front by 4 seconds ahead of Grandad Steve coming into turn 1. At the start of this race, there's the Nuts. Wilfredo Flowers line up and move here on the Nuts, looking to the inside into turn 1. Can't get it done. Tucked back in behind the Ford for now, as we can see Fabio going for the move here on Craig up into 5th, but he can't get it done. Craig holds the inside line and maintains 5th place for the time being. Disco there running in 7th place. He's starting to get the inroads on these two who are running in P5 and 6 of them. Disco could easily be on for a podium in this race if he keeps his nose clean to the rest of this one. Falguest there, running in 8th. He's got about half a second back to Richie, who's still keeping tabs with him at this point. But the one that they're all trying to keep tabs with, they just can't seem to match at the moment, is Beanbasher. He's got almost 4 seconds out the front of Grandad Steve and continuing to do the business right now. Beanbasher, former champion of the GTE here at Motive, under a different alias known as Smithy is Faster. He is really getting the laps down over the course of this one so far. Pit window will be open next lap, but for the drivers who've got damage on the car, they can come in a little bit earlier in this race. But Beanbasher definitely showing his credentials for this GTE championship here at Motive on Project Cars 2. Obviously finishing 3rd place in the season opener last week at Watkins Glen, so he'll be looking to try building that if he can. Grandad Steve running in 2nd place was in the battle for the lead last week with Disco, ended up having that crash coming through the chicane. He's doing a good job right now though. He's the only driver who's really keeping Beanbasher honest in this race. Nuts and Wilfredo continuing to battle it out down the start finish straight, and Wilfredo's got another great run here. But it is turn 1 going to come just in time for the Nuts. He's going to send Wilfredo around the long way here up towards the corner. Can the Ferrari get all the way around the outside? No, the Ford parks it on the apex there. Beautifully done for the Nuts. Wilfredo's still got the run though on the outside. He's got a little bit of that Ferrari alongside him, which means he's entitled to some space, and looks like the Nuts may have had a slowdown penalty there. And did he back off a little bit? Wilfredo's still side by side. No, the Nuts back up the inside for turn 2, and that's really nice defensive driving there from the Nuts, continuing to hold on to P3 by the skin of his teeth just there, as Disco is running in 5th place at the moment, just ahead of Fabio Salto for the time being. Wilfredo's got back ahead of the Nuts. These two continuing to duel it out. Great racing here for that final podium spot. Grandad Steve reeled in Beanbasher a little bit in this first sector here, starting to get some pace going here. Disco continuing to try and hunt down. Oh no! Disco's hit! Oh no! He's just coming out of turn 4 or 5. Was it? He's retired from the race. What's he retired for? Disco face out of the race. Beanbasher's still going out the front, 4 seconds as he's got to Grandad Steve, and Wilfredo just in front of the Nuts right now, as Nuts having a look to the inside, coming into the penultimate corner. Has he got the move done here on Wilfredo? Wilfredo's looking back to the inside in towards the final corner. A little bit of rubbing doors there between those two, out of the final corner onto the start finish now, as looks as though Nuts has got slightly more legs on the Ferrari of Wilfredo, as they definitely get a bit up close and personal there. Still side by side all the way down the start finish straight. Looks like the side draft is working really nicely here for the Ford, but in the end the Ferrari just has too much power and it's pulled away a little bit in towards the braking zone, and that's Wilfredo safe and sound up there. Or is he? No, the Mustang's trying to get the cut back as he can, but as soon as they get up to speed, the Ferrari just seems to pull away a little bit, and still side by side Wilfredo's going to have a slight going to be slightly ahead coming into the corner, and gets himself back up into 3rd place in that exchange there. But what racing from these drivers in the GTE cars. Drop a like on the video, guys. Show your appreciation for the drivers out on the track. If you want to get involved, go to www.motiveracing.com as well, as all of these drivers are putting on a great show tonight. Hats off to the boys, and I don't believe there are any girls out on track, but if there are, hats off. But right now, these two giving it a really good showing. Beanbasher still leading this race by just over 4 seconds of them to Grandad Steve. Last up they were matching each other, but Grandad Steve was about 600 quicker, but looks like it's kind of just staying around the same between those two. But Wilfredo still can't get them done with the Nuts right now. Richie even has still got Falguest all over the back of him in this battle for 5th. Craig there on there in 7th. Deutschland's just coming through the chicane. He's got Fabio Salto about 2nd behind him. DJ Phil, the Disney, running in 11th place. There is Guitar Rich. JM Gruhl still going, and Smokey Devil in P14 in this race. P15 still going in this race though. But Beanbasher's gap continuing to extend over Grandad Steve. 36.7 was Grandad Steve's last lap, but Beanbasher still pulled away by 7/10 of a second. So it looks like Beanbasher is the force to be reckoned with here tonight at Fuji, as now the Nuts has got Wilfredo Flowers looking back to his inside again, down the start finish straight. Is he going to be able to get the move done here once again? Wilfredo's going to have the legs, as we've seen so many times down that start finish straight. The Nuts is going to try and hold it around the outside here. Is he going to be able to? They're still going to be side by side as Nuts Must all over the curb there on the exit of turn 1. Wilfredo should have the outside for turn 2, and I think he's going to be able to hold on there just down to the sheer grunt of the Ferrari, managing to outpace the Ford down all of the straights. Richie and DJ Phil both into the pits to make their mandatory pit stops here at the end of lap 7. But BeamBasher there still leading, and GrandaSteed still trying to keep tabs to him if he can, but these two battling over the final podium spot. Wilfredo and the Mutsnuts continuing to give each other a great fight here. Also just noticing there Duismonks is going ahead of Fabio, so I don't know if Fabio's got a slowdown there coming through turn 4 or what it was, but Duismonks there relatively easily breezing past him through that section of the track. As we see Wilfredo and Mutsnuts still going side by side and banging doors once again. It's balled over a little bit between the two of them, and the Mutsnuts definitely seem to come across there on Wilfredo. They crash into them all a little bit, and neither of them seems to have incurred too much damage there. Luckily for them, pit window's open now, but Mutsnuts throws one back up the inside into the penultimate corner. Bit of counter steal was probably needed there in that one, but they ultimately ended up crashing into each other a little bit. These two dropping way off of the leader BeamBasher, who seems to have some absolutely scorching pace out the front here in this race. He is really getting the laps down over the course of this one so far. Pit window will be open next lap, but drivers with damage on the car, they can come. But side by side here down the start-finish straight, the Mutsnuts and Wilfredo Flowers. Is Mutsnuts going to have the legs here? Always looks like the Ford trying to hold on the inside there ahead of the Ferrari. Once again, looks like Mutsnuts last time actually did that pace down the start-finish straight. Falguest closing it in on these guys at quite a rate of knots, and he's actually got a bit of damage on the left-hand side of that Porsche as well, so that's no mean feat. He is really pushing that to its limits. He's got a couple of seconds back to Craig, who's trying to follow him towards the leaders. Fabio Salto still running in 7th. Duismonks going to the first corner in 8th place at the moment. Isda in 9th, just ahead of Guitar Rich. We've got somebody coming into the pits there in the background. DJ Phil is already in the pits, and that just behind him is JM Gruhl. So JM Gruhl also coming in to make a pit stop here at the end of lap 8. Wilfredo and the Mutsnuts continuing to dice it out, but they've now got Falguest not too far back of them. Look at that! Mutsnuts going for a very speculative move, and he's lost the car. He's onto the grass a little bit. Falguest is now going to be hot on the trunk of the Mutsnuts in a moment. Craig there, a couple of seconds behind them in P6 at the moment. They're 5 seconds behind is Fabio Salto. But Falguest is going to be all over these two like a cheap suit very soon. Stealing that quote off of a commentator from Simplay there, but this could now become a 3-way fight for 3rd place very shortly. BeamBasher continuing to pull out the gap to GrandaSteed. 6 seconds between those two. BeamBasher seems to be very, very imperious here at Fuji. Had the pace last week at Watkins Glen, but unfortunate over the course of the race, but he is on song so far in this one. Absolutely superb performance from the BeamBasher, otherwise known as Smithy, otherwise known as his previous alias. Smithy's faster. Towards the final corner. A little bit of rubbing doors there between those two out of the final corner onto the start finish now, as it looks as though Mutsnuts got slightly more legs on the Ferrari of Wilfredo, so they're definitely getting a little bit up close and personal there. So Wilfredo Flowers currently 2.5 ahead of the Mutsnuts at the moment. Craig's got ahead of Falguest, so looks like Falguest might have made a mistake there. Doesn't seem to have any more damage than he already had on the car, so I think it's not been maybe just a spin or possibly got onto the curb a little bit. But he's now 4 seconds behind Craig. He's got a couple of seconds back to Fabio, who sat there in 7th place at the moment. But a little bit of a skirmish there for Falguest. Slightly ahead coming into the corner and gets himself back up. BeamBasher currently out the front and doing a really strong job here in this race so far. Looks like he's unbeatable here at Fuji Speedway. He's done everything right so far in that number 8 yellow Ford. All of these drivers are putting on a great show tonight. Hats off to the boys, and I don't think they're any other if there are hats off. But right now, these two are giving a really good show. BeamBasher still leading this race by just over. As we see there, BeamBasher still leading, but gap kind of extended a little bit to GrandaSteed, not massively, but looked like GrandaSteed's kind of just dropping off the pace a little bit. JM Gruhl sat there in P13 right now. He's in the box. He's just off and on his way now. So JM Gruhl going to return probably in P13, just ahead of Djphil, I reckon. But race kind of just settling down a little bit now. Falguest has only got about a second back to Fabio at this point. But things just starting to settle down now. Not really any battles going on out on the track, but we've had a hectic opening sort of third to this race. It really has been non-stop action here on the Motive Racing channel. But Fabio kind of just keeping Falguest on his toes here in this battle for 6th. And they've dropped off the battle for 3rd. And it looks like Wilfredo's now got a bit of a gap back to the Nuts. So these two separated by 2 seconds. Craig still reeling, actually Craig's reeling these two in that number 72 Ferrari. So we could be seeing Craig appearing on the horizon very shortly in the rearview mirrors of Wilfredo and the Nuts. So we're on lap 11 of 35 here for the GTEs at Motive. Big thank you to everybody watching live on YouTube right now. Drop a like on the stream, guys, if you do enjoy the action that you're seeing right now. Show your appreciation for the drivers out on the track. You were putting on a great show. So Falguest still running just ahead of Fabio right now, but Fabio's keeping him honest here in this fight for P6 in this race. And Wilfredo's now got almost a second back to the Nuts, so that looks like he's relatively comfortable there. Here's Wilfredo. Starting to close up onto the back of the Dizzler a little bit now. Looks like there's just under a second between those two in a minute, as we see Smokey and JM both in the pits. JM coming in again. That's damage repairs there. You see it on the front of that Corvette. That's definitely been through the shredder. Smokey Devil looks like he's still in the box as well. Bit of a long pit stop there for Smokey. Corvette's not having the rubber or green tonight, are they? Down in P12 and P13. Guitar Rich trying to close up onto the back of the Dizzler at the moment. Fabio's now pretty much with Falguest. The last lap, Fabio was almost a second quicker than Falguest. Let's see what sort of lap times they do on this lap. So Fabio was again 3/10 quicker than Falguest on that lap. In the background of this, you see Doy Spunks there coming over the line to start lap 13. That was a hiccup. Dizzler there sat 9th place. He's got Guitar Rich not too far behind him, but I don't know, the gap's coming down a little bit. A couple of laps ago now, the Dizzler's taken a second back on Guitar Rich on that lap, so Dizzler now starting to pull away a little bit from the Aston Martin there. But as quickly as the race sort of livened up, it's completely died again, to be honest. I mean, it was really lively sort of first laps, but now the pack just seemed to have it spread out. Still 14 cars on the track, but just nobody really seems to be close together. Falguest has got about a second still to Fabio, but that gap just kind of ebbing and throwing between those two. And they're not really making the gains that they'd like to be on the podium, drivers. About 10 seconds separate Beam Basher and Grandad Steak. Beam Basher not showing any signs of making any mistakes at this point. Just driving a really solid race out the front. And hats off to him, he hasn't put a foot wrong over the course of this race so far. So we see Nuts. Nuts into the pits to make his pit stop. here at the end of lap 13. Maybe he's got the engine damage up to 1 or 2%. Fabio back to within a second of Falguest. Isla there looks like he's just coming up on some traffic, which is in the shape of DJ Phil. So Falguest is in the pits here at the end of lap 14. Looks like that was a very quick pit stop there from the Porsche, in and out in record time. And he'll be looking to... Hold on, what's happened to Fabio? Falguest and Fabio are having a good battle there, but it looks like Fabio must have made a mistake and he's coming in to limit the damage done, or whatever that was. But incurring a few repairs by the looks of it there, so that's gone horribly wrong for Fabio. That's kind of released Falguest into some clean air, but not really though, because he's got Guitar Rich just in front of him. Obviously leaders yet to pit, so the gap that you can see between Bean Basher and then to the Mutsnuts isn't quite as much as what it looks like. So just to fill you all in, Bean Basher, Grandad Steve, Wilfredo Flowers and Craig all still need to come in and make their pit stop at some point in this race, as do Dois Monks. Guitar Rich also needs to come in. The Dizzler also needs to come in as well. I think Richie might have been in. So Craig's coming in to make his pit stop now. That just leaves Bean Basher, Grandad Steve, Wilfredo Flowers, Dois Monks and the Dizzler to come in at some point between now and the end of the race. As we see there, the Mutsnuts getting ahead of Dois Monks. Obviously they're on different... Sorry, the Dizzler are even getting ahead of Dois Monks. Dois Monks is coming into the pits now, so in he comes. Falguest not too far off the back of the Mutsnuts now, only 5 seconds between them, and these two are both pitted, so this is now for representative track position here as Craig filters out of the pits just in front of Falguest. So that's really not gone to plan at all for Falguest. Craig just slipping in to that little spot between the Mutsnuts and Fowl, but Mutsnuts looking like he could be on for a podium here in this one. Still, he'll want to be staying out ahead of Wilfredo Flowers when Wilfredo does eventually come in and make his pit stop. Not sure when he's going to be pulling the trigger, but at which point he does, the Mutsnuts will hopefully has a long enough pit stop that he can come out ahead of Wilfredo. So Fowl looking to try and join this train of cars if he can. See the Dizzler and Craig side by side coming up towards the chicane. What's going to happen? Oh no, they're not, sorry. Craig's a little bit behind him. Oh god, that's embarrassing. So, yeah. Falguest has just put a lap there on Djphil. Djphil just behind these guys. Oh, Falgus has lost it. Oh no, he's binned it into the barriers. Oh, is that? Oh, he got it back going again. But he comes out. Oh, he's come out side by side with Guitar Rich. Guitar Rich is down the inside into the final turn. And Falgus now has to take evasive action to avoid road going into Richie there. So that's gone horribly wrong. Richie up into P7 here in this race. That's given the Muttnuts a little bit of a respite there, as he's still battling with Craig for fourth. That will could become third once Wilfredo Flowers comes into the pits, as Wilfredo still needs to come into the pits before the end of this race. But Wilfredo actually looking quicker than these two at the moment. Just need to quickly do so. My guys, apologies for that little delay there. Just had to quickly sort something out, but Bean Basher has the lead of the race still. Looks like GranDad's been in to make his pit stop. Wilfredo Flowers has got a bit of damage in the front of his Ferrari, has he? I don't know. No. Maybe, yeah, he has. His front bump, his bonnet's wobbling about a little bit, so I don't know what's happened there to Wilfredo. But Bean Basher's just been in to make his pit stop, as has GranDad Steve. Wilfredo's staying out for the time being, still hasn't been in to make that pit stop. Craig is running in 4th. That could be pretty close with Wilfredo though, once Wilfredo comes in, especially with that damage that Wilfredo's got now. Then they've got another 5 seconds back to Richie, who's sat in 5th. Falgas still sat in P6 at the moment, trying to chase Richie down for what's going to be P5 pretty shortly for him. The Blizzard there in the pits. Fabio Salto running in 8th place still. We've got Guitar Rich still going around in 9th place. Good to see. We've got Dois Monks completing the top 10 at the moment. Smoky Devil, JM Gould, DJ Phil still out there at the moment. Retirements from the race. We've had Disco retire. Unfortunately, we had RDJ retire as well. And we also had one more retirement. And that was... we also lost... Who else did we lose? We lost the Mutts Nuts. What's happened to the Mutts Nuts? Oh wow, I don't know what's happened there to the Mutts Nuts. We lost him from the race. And we've also lost Smokey. So Mutts Nuts and Smoky Devil both retiring from the race there. I don't know what's going on. But they're both out. So that's gone absolutely disastrous there for those guys. That's a real shame. One thing that's very important to know at the moment is also that GranDad's closed the gap to Bean Basher in the pit stops. Only 6 seconds now between what is net first and second, with Wilfredo still yet to make his pit stop. And despite that very, very loose front bumper, he's still going pretty quickly at the moment. Although GranDad Steve will be on the back of him pretty shortly and pushing it. But GranDad Steve, the big winner in the pit stops, has gained about 4 or 5 seconds on the race leader Bean Basher over the course of the pit window. So really good job there from GranDad Steve. Falgas continuing to reel in Richie a little bit. There's currently 3 seconds between those two at the moment. Falguest then weaving left and right, trying to keep in the slipstream of Richie, who's trying to break that toe. Porsche getting the run coming down the start finish, but not close enough. The Ferrari's so quick down the straights here at Fuji, and the Porsche in no league to be able to compete with that. Wilfredo Flowers still just ahead of Granite Steve, but Wilfredo does need to come in to the pits at some point between now and the end of the race. So his battle is really with Craig for what's going to be third place in this race, I imagine. Obviously we lost the Mutts Nuts a little while ago, so unfortunately he won't be in that battle for the podium spots. Here we go then, looks like Granda C's trying to make a move here on Wilfredo Flowers. Wilfredo obviously is a pit stop behind, he still needs to come in and make his pit stop at some point. So I wouldn't imagine he'd fight this one too hard. Granda C will be looking to try and dispatch Wilfredo as soon as he can. He's still in reasonable touching distance of Beam Basher, only 8 seconds between them, so if Granda C can get ahead of Wilfredo quickly, then he might keep himself in with a fighting chance of being able to capitalise if Beam Basher were to make a mistake in these final 10-11 laps that we got left in this race. Richie's making a move to the inside of Craig into 4th place. I think he's got that move done down into turn 1. Yes, he has. Richie making a move there up another position. Falguest looks like he's looming large in the background there in the Porsche, looking to try and get involved in this action if he possibly can. Oh no, somebody's lost it there coming out of the final corner. That's DJ Phil there in the wall, so Wilfredo and Granda Steve making their way past it. These two battling over second and third at the moment. Granda Steve's going to get a toe coming down the start finish straight, and he'll be desperate to clear Wilfredo here because he's losing lots and lots of time at the moment as he now pulls out of that slipstream. He was 4/10 whip on the previous lap. Granda Steve down the inside into turn 1. He's got that move done, and only 8 seconds behind the race to the Beam Basher. Granda Steve not out of the battle for the lead yet here in this one. He's been keeping Beam Basher very much on his toes for the duration of this race, and could very, very well be bringing himself into contention for the win if Beam Basher doesn't keep his eye on the prize. Craig still just ahead of Richie and Falguest. Falguest has really closed up onto the back of these two over the course of this lap, and looks like Craig's gone. Oh, he's gone wide out of the corner, and Richie swoops at the inside, but looked like he had to get out of it a little bit there. And now here comes Falguest down the start finish straight. He gets the head there of Craig, and now he's going to get into the slipstream of Richie. He's going to try and use that toe down the start finish straight. Are they going to go 3 wide? As now Craig gets a secondary toe on these two. Falguest looks to the outside as Richie defends his inside line. Can the Porsche get around the Ferrari into turn 1? He breaks late here, does Falguest. He's going to try and go all the way here, and he's going to get that move done beautifully there. Falguest up into 4th place, making 2 overtakes in the space of about half a kilometre there, and Falguest is up into 4th. As Wilfredo's got back ahead of Granda Steve. I don't know what happened there to Granda Steve, but he's dropped back down to 3rd place. As Wilfredo still gets to make his pit stop, is into 2nd once again. Didn't see what happened there to Granda Steve, but Falguest has moved up ahead of Craig and Richie up into 4th place, and that was beautifully done there from Falguest. Craig still has got Richie just behind him. These two are going to try and come back at Falguest if they can over the course of the last part of this race, but with Granda Steve making that mistake and dropping behind Wilfredo, that's all but secured Beam Basher's win here at Fuji for the second round of the GTEs here on Project Cars 2 Emotive Racing. Here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. Guys, if you like what you see, if you appreciate the driving out on track tonight, then drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you haven't already, and go to www.motiveracing.com if you want to be a part of the on-track action. So I see closing that back up onto the rear of Wilfredo. Richie was on the back of Craig before he came in, but Richie's come in to make his pit stop. I didn't realise Richie hadn't been into the pits to make his stop, so he's coming in now to make that. Well, I was surprised because man of Richie's pace, it was surprising to see him as far back as he was. Is he lagging a bit here down the pit lane? Oh no, don't be a shame if he was to disconnect at this point. No, it looks like he's all right. He was just drifting a little bit down the pit lane, but he seems to still be in the race for the time being. We're going to see still on the back of Wilfredo Flowers. You see here about a couple of tenths separating these two, coming down the start-finish straight. Can Grandesty make the most of that toe? We know that the Ferrari's quicker in a straight line than the Ford, but Grandesty's going to pull out to the left-hand side here, going to try and make the move into turn one. Is he going to be able to get it done? It looks like he has done. Grandesty, routine move there on Wilfredo Flowers up in second, but he gets a little bit loose out of the first corner, and Wilfredo's going to be back up the inside, side by side between turns 1 and 2, and I think Wilfredo's going to be back up into second place there. Grandesty, is he going to try and hold it around the outside? No, he's going to go for the cutback here. Has Wilfredo overshot the corner? Yes, he has, and Grandesty manages to execute that cutback brilliantly there up into second place, and can now try and focus his attention on Beam Basher, but I think Beam Basher is a little bit too far ahead now. 13 seconds between them as we're on the 28th lap of 35 here. 7 laps left to go. I think Beam Basher's got this done in this battle for the race win, but Grandesty there doing a good job there getting ahead of Wilfredo Flowers. Wilfredo's still yet to pit, but he's got a big gap back to Falguest and Craig, and Falguest now starting to pull away from Craig a little bit since making that move a couple of laps ago. But I think that Wilfredo should be alright to bring that home in the final podium spot, barring any major catastrophes in the final part of this race. Just noticing there, we have unfortunately lost DJ Phil from the race, so DJ Phil has retired from this one. He's throwing the towel here on lap 30 of the race. Such a shame there for the DJ coordinator here on Project Cars 2 at Motive, having a not so great race this time out. as Beambasher come out onto the start-finish straight, soon to start his 31st lap of the race. We see Wilfredo coming into the pits. Oh my goodness me, what's happened to the leader, Beambasher? Oh, he's lost it on the braking there. Oh my goodness, first mistake of the race there for Beambasher, just as I was noticing there. Wilfredo coming into the pits to make his pit stop. I wonder if he's going to come out ahead of Falgast. Falgast is going to be chasing him down in the final part of this race, but wow, Beambasher there. It looked like he had almost completely lost the car there. Just about managed to bring it under control, but that was a hairy moment there for the race leader, who's been absolutely killing it out there from in this race. Wilfredo does come a little way clear of Falgast and should be able to bring that home in the final podium spot, as Falgast is a long way behind there in fourth. So started off with 16 cars out on the grid for tonight here at Fuji, and we're down to 11. We lost Diabetic Lamb, RDJ, Disco, DJ Phil. As well as No Marks Nuts, so all of those guys retired from the race early on in this one. The Marks Nuts was in that fight for the podium spot with Wilfredo, Falgast and Craig before his untimely demise here in this one. But Beambasher currently out in front and looking like he's going to take the second race of the season for the GTEs. Did a good job last week at Watkins Glen, came back from an early skirmish to finish in the final podium spot in third, and has done absolutely brilliantly here tonight at Fuji. Has been in a class of his own out the front in this one. See Craig coming in to make a pit stop. I didn't realise he hadn't come in. Or has he got damaged? No. Oh, he's overshot the pit box there. Oh no, Craig goes a little bit past his pit crew there. Thankfully there wasn't a front jackman on the front of that car, but looks like his pit crew are giving him the all clear, but he's not moving there. Oh, what's happened there to Craig? Oh no. That's gone from bad to worse than the blink of an eye there for Craig. He's off and away now. Beam Basher though still leading by, he's got over 30 seconds back to GandaFlanda now, so I don't know, GandaFlanda must have made a mistake on that last lap. It's dropped him off of the leader quite considerably. Beam Basher now very much in a world of his own here in this race. Craig has just come in towards the end of the pit lane now, emerges in P6, so he's on for some great points right now. Is Craig might face a bit of a stiff test from the Dizzler in these last couple of laps though. The Dizzler's going to try and get onto the outside of him into turn 1, but can't quite get it around him at the moment, and Craig managing to come out in P6 for the time being, but Dizzler's going to fight him all the way to the flag for that one, you can be sure of that. Craig looked like he took one of the bards with him there. Dizzler can't get anything done with him at the moment. On board with the Dizzler coming up through turn 3. He's going to be flat out here through the second part of this corner onto the throttle. Going to try and outbrake if he can. Craig covers off that inside line. Nowhere around for the Dizzler at the moment. Lap and a half left to go for these two. Craig's done really well in this one. I was up there of fighting with Falguest and Wilfredo and had the pace of them, to be fair to him. And he's just gone unlucky with the strategy. Looked like he must have come in very early on outside of the pit window as Dizzler's looking to the outside here. It's a shame. He's going to try and go around the long way here, but Craig swung him out of road there and squeezed him out. Brilliant driving there from Craig. I thought the Dizzler had that done around the outside, but Craig just continuing to just hang on by the skin of his teeth as he really restricted the Dizzler's opportunities around that corner. And for the time being, Craig clinging onto that P6 as these two are just putting a lap on a green Ford. No, they're not. GranddadStee, the man in P2, has completely dropped back here coming through the final part of this lap, and I don't know what's going on there with Steve, but he's lost a lot of time coming through that part of the track, and these two unlapping themselves on him. So has he got damage on the car maybe, or potentially saving fuel? Maybe he's low on fuel and is trying to get that car to the end. I reckon that's probably actually more likely to be the case here. Let's just have a little look at the fuel. Yeah, that's exactly why. He's only got 2.9 litres of fuel in the tank, so that'll be why. Beam Basher though, plenty of fuel in his tank, 16 litres that says on the screen. And he's got a few corners left to go here at Fuji for Motive Racing's GTEs, round 2 of the season. What a race it has been for this man. Took pole position in the qualifying session ahead of Disco Face and Richie, and he has not looked back since the start. Drove off in the first stint. Managed to pull out a bit of a gap to GranddadStee. GranddadStee in the last part of the race really has dropped off the pace, but 43 seconds is Beam Basher's lead as he's coming up towards the line. The former GTE champion here at Motive in Season 2 is going to cross the line, this time in a different car though. He took the GTE championship in the Porsche in Season 2. He takes the win here in Fuji for round 2 of the season in a yellow Ford. What a drive from Beam Basher as Falguest crosses the line just behind him in 4th place. A lap down. Basher lapped everybody up to 4th place in this race. What a job here in this race. Was an unstoppable force. Fabio is going to come around to take P5 here. Also a lap down, not too far behind Falguest, as he's got 1.6 litres of fuel in the tank. He doesn't realise he's a lap down, so he doesn't need to come into the pits and get fuel because he's a lap down. He didn't need to do that. He could have kept going. Is he going to lose the position to Craig as a result? Craig is coming down the pit straight now. Fabio didn't need to do that. He could have crossed the line. He's a lap down. This race would have been over. Craig is coming up towards the line, and Craig is going to take P5 here in this one. So Fabio making a major misjudgment there. Looks as though the Dizzler's going to take 6th. And it's Fabio crossed the line. He has crossed the line now, so he finishes in 7th place. Oh, so unfortunate for Fabio, losing a couple of positions there in the last part of the race. Guitar Rich coming out of the final corner. He's going to take an 8th place here in this one. A good result there for him. Richie's not going to be too far behind in 9th. Doyce Monks has finished in 10th, and JM Gruhl also finished in 11th place. But these two, Guitar Rich and Richie, will be the final cars to cross the line. Big congrats to all the drivers who took part here tonight for Motive Racing's GTEs. Thank you to everybody who jumped in for the stream. Going to have to wrap this up quickly tonight as I've got a commentary on F1 to do. But big thank you to all the drivers and to the viewers, and well done to Basher, GrandaFlanda and Wilfredo Flowers on the podium spots. What a drive from Bean Basher tonight, though. Lapped almost the whole field. Only GrandaTKU and Wilfredo Flowers staying on that lead lap. So once again, a huge congratulations to him. Also took the fastest lap, as if that one was in any doubt whatsoever. But guys, thank you ever so much. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel, and join us at www.motiveracing.com if you want to be a part of the action. With that being said, we're going to get off. Have a great evening, and hopefully join us on F1. But if not, we will see you in the next one. See you later.